So welcome everyone to this wonderful session, mentorship program, where we will be talking about multiple aspects related to career growth, resume, interviews, and all. And we have overall 7 persons who have volunteered to be the mentor and help others with their answers and other kind of guidance so that we will be going through. So let's see what all we have. So we will start with a bit of introduction for Tech Writers Tribe. Then we will start by segment. So total, we have divided the session into primarily 4 mentor-led segments where specific mentors will be first taking up the questions. Those were submitted by the participants already who have registered. And then in addition, if there are additional questions we would like to take. So these are the mentor-led segments. So we will start with interview, then go to hiring, then to resume, and then to career growth. Career growth will be divided into 2 parts. So one is within technical writing and second will be outside technical writing. So after these mentor-led segments, then we will open the floor to everyone for any questions, and all can feel free to discuss, question, answers. And we will try to close at 12:15, and we hope to maintain the time in all this process. And so as a result, during the question answer session, we will be a bit more focused and so that we can control time. We have multiple segments, and in fact, the number of questions that we have received so far already, it's already a good number. So everything will take time. And the only request to all of you will be that when the segments are going on, first, we will take up the questions that's already submitted. I will read the question and the mentors will answer those questions to the best of their knowledge. And then in that segment, we will open up for questions. So please, while asking the questions, make sure that it's related to that segment. Anyway, we have divided it like that. So that's the only request to all of you. Okay, so now let's get started first with our journey. And so you will be glad to know that we are now completing 5 years. So it's like 5 years completed overall for the first event ever conducted in March. And now we are celebrating that. So in that journey, so we started with 8 people and now multiple more people have joined. So that's basically amazing from the community that they have come forward to not only join, but also help. Like today also, you see, and so many mentors, people have come, and we should be very thankful to these mentors that, okay, they have just come forward here, spending their time, to help the community members. So now that's what we'll live on. That's what basically that's how Tech Writers Tribe progresses, with the help of each other, sharing, caring, and preparing. That's what we do. Okay, that's overall motto, and that's what we have been following for the last 5 years. In this overall progress, yeah, we started from one small meeting, and then we have grown into multiple meetings and offline events also. And in this process, yeah, we have become one of the biggest in India and Asia. And apart from that, multiple countries in different continents, we have seen participants and presenters from that also. Okay, so please mute yourself. This is just a glimpse of what basically we are, what are we doing. So generally we take pride in telling the number of weeks, because mostly we conduct events on all the weeks. So this is 262nd week. At least I feel very good about it, that every week something is happening on our platform. And overall 325 plus events conducted, many presenters, as you can see, overall more than basically 200 presenters. So, and 253 presenters so far as per the number. And so this is what I feel good about, more than what Tech Writers Tribe is doing. So many people our community, I mean, I always used to think that, okay, our community is limited to, 10 odd person, 20 odd persons. Wherever the events are happening, you will always see those names. But now when we see 253 persons, I feel very proud of our community that there are so many persons who want to come forward and share their knowledge. So yes, even among you, if somebody wants to be a presenter, you have something. If you're confident enough, fill the form. If you're not confident enough and you want some suggestions, guidance, feel free to talk to me or my team. So this is what we are. And now the WhatsApp groups and all for networking, we have different groups. So for leaders, we have a separate WhatsApp group, which is only open to documentation between leaders. Then we have topic-based community where, we have like on based on different topics related to technical documentation. So there you can join, you can ask questions, you can answers. And then of course, we have multiple regional WhatsApp group, different kind of different based on different cities and regions of India, especially. Different kind of initiatives have been run in this process, and we will be adding more initiatives. All of you probably may be feeling, stronger or passionate about something in your professional field. And if you feel that you would like to share knowledge in that particular aspect, feel free to join us. All you need is a bit of a spare time and passion for doing something for the community. That's all. Rest, we will help you with. So in these weeks, we have so far conducted 18 conferences, to be precise, offline conferences. And in these offline conferences, so Pune and Bangalore have 5 each, Hyderabad has 3, Chennai 2. So this year also, we have already conducted 2 conferences, one in Pune and other one in Hyderabad. And now in the next 2 months, basically May and June, we already have 2 more conferences planned, one in Bangalore and one in Gujarat, Ahmedabad actually. And apart from that, many of you may be aware we run multiple kind of courses. So the batches of those courses are starting and registration is also already open. This is one achievement so far, in terms of prizes and all. So, STC India, they conducted one annual conference last year and we were provided multiple awards. So one of these awards is like the best community award in terms of activity and reach and different kind of things that we are doing. So that kind of acknowledgement helps to feel good and motivates also. That's what TWT Tribe is about. Now, in case any of you feel that, oh, I cannot help the community because I probably don't have something. So I would say just see this slide. Whoever you are, whether you are a fresher, whether you are a senior, junior, IC, or you are a manager, you can always help. And please remember, community is not about only taking and taking. Those communities where there are, which is full of community, where people, majority of the people only feel that they can take from others, but they never give back. Yes, those people get benefited, but that kind of community never survives for a long time. So if you want for your benefit, the community to thrive, you have to make it stronger, provided you feel happy with us. If you feel happy with us, please do help. Otherwise, even if you don't feel happy with us, find your own means, but help, share your knowledge, whatever you have gained. Now, that's all about TWT Tribe. Now, coming to today's mentoring session. So as we said, it's divided into primarily different segments. First interviews, then hiring, then we will go to resume, career growth, open forum. Okay. So first, let's see. Let's meet our mentors. And here, I would request the mentors to switch on their videos if they have joined, if they have, joined the meeting already. So first we have Bhavna. The rest of the details you can see on the website and here also. So I will not go to all the details. So first we have Bhavna, and apart from what you see in the slide, and please, their LinkedIn profile, everything is there on the event page. You all can feel free to connect directly with them. So Bhavna has more than 20 years of experience in product documentation, in enterprise and cloud application. She has conducted hundreds of interviews, hired writers for multiple roles. She has trained, mentored, managed, and built successful documentation team. to deliver different kind of documentation. So we are very happy to welcome her. And so thank you, Bhavna, for joining. And then we have Sumit. So I'm sure at least Sumit is, otherwise also people will be knowing, and at least those people who have been associated with TechWriter Tribe, they must be knowing because he has already conducted multiple sessions here to help the community. He is one such person with us who is always ready to help the community in all aspect. So whatever you say, and with his kind of experience, so he has been technical writing and all since 95. He has worked across several industries globally. And I always, joke around with him that I don't know, Sumit, when I call you, whether you are in Pune or Canada, because his 1 foot is here and 1 foot there. And all the time he keeps on helping people. So he helps people reaching higher potential by helping them improve their profiles, especially the L1 profiles. So probably people who are interested in jobs abroad. So maybe is your go-to man, whom I know at least. He gives career advice, tips, and improves resume, helps you prepare for interviews. So thank you, Sumit, again for joining. Then we have Ziba. So Ziba has more than 12 years of experience in technical writing. She has developed a strong expertise in creating clear, concise, and user-friendly documentation for various domains, such as BFS, insurance, and retail. She has also acquired skills in goal setting, professional development, strategic thinking, and communication, which helps her enhance her performance and contribute to the success of the organization. So overall, her passion is to create impactful documentation that meets the needs and expectations of the end users and the business. And apart from that, she has done unique kind of training. I would say unique because very less technical writers do. In her career, she has led the team. She has worked as individual IC, and now with her special, different kind of certifications in agile, product ownership, and all. And she has also conducted sessions with us previously. She has been also helping the community, and especially, the career growth outside technical writing, or what other things you should be doing at the higher level when you want to do a bit more than just writing. So Ziba is your person to ask questions. So thank you, Ziba, for joining. Then we have Prashant Raj, with 14 plus of years of experience in different domains like aerospace, automotive, oil and gas, transportation, fintech, leading several API projects, and he has been a VP of Toastmasters. I'm sure most of you may be aware of Toastmasters, what amazing work they do. So great. So thank you, Prashant, for joining. And then we have Chakravarti. So Chakravarti is a technical writer with 20 years of experience across varied domains and companies such as Wipro, Oracle, Informatica, Cloudera, Google, and Salesforce. He has trained writers for interview preparation many times and helped many writers own their resumes to get hired easily. So that's quite a lot of history of helping the people. So thank you so much. And you have been joining us first time. So thank you so much for joining. And then we have Gaurav. So I'm not sure if he's there in the meeting right now. So he may join a bit later. So Gaurav again is one person. I generally call him a one-man army. So he has vast experience in general, 10 years plus experience, but even for helping the community, he always comes forward, and he has also conducted multiple sessions to help the community. But more than that, he also helps in our WhatsApp groups, answering people, making them inquisitive about what new to do with trending things. And on top of that, he is a busy person. Apart from general work, his product documentation work, where he's working with Red Hat at right now. So he is busy with API documentation, AI, different kind of tools. And recently, I assume in February, he conducted one session where he demoed his tool called Rapidoc tool, which is for his style guide checker and all, and he is working on it. So, yep, anything related with technology and all. So he is very enthusiastic and he keeps on doing. And best part is he is always open to suggestions, guidance, and anybody can reach out to him. And then we have Jyoti. So Jyoti is a freelance technical writer, editor, and trainer with over 19 years of experience in the IT industry. She specializes in transforming complex technical information into user-friendly documentation and mentors aspiring and experienced technical writers. She actively contributes to knowledge sharing spaces to help writers improve their writing skills through real-world challenges. She brings a unique blend of technical depth, linguistics, and a passion for helping others through her writing and mentoring. So, and apart from that, so in terms of helping with us, in case you are in our WhatsApp group, so one thing that you might be seeing right now about Write It Right, the interesting questions and all. So Jyoti is behind that. So, and apart from that, of course, she keeps on doing multiple other stuff. So for helping the community. So thank you, Jyoti, for joining. And with this, we complete the introduction of mentors. So I hope all of you are well aware about the mentors. So I assume many of them are available right now, and some of them may be joining later, but we will continue. So first, let's go ahead with our oh, interview segments. So what we will do is we have got some questions, right? So as I said, so some questions are there. So we will first talk about those questions. So I will be sharing those questions and the mentors can basically pitch in and help the community. So help them those answers, them with answers. And apart from that, if they have anything else to share, I request mentors to feel free and share. So let's get started with this. Okay, so everyone ready? All the mentors are ready? Okay, so let's get ahead with the questions then. So question number one in interview segment that we have is, uh, and yeah, for these questions, I won't be naming the persons who have asked questions because some have mentioned not to name, some have mentioned to name. So I said better than that, don't name anyone. Respects, and if the person is there here, that person can certainly go ahead and name and ask question. So question number one, the situation is candidate applied for an on-roll job. I'm a bit confused about this term on-roll, but if somebody is clear, good enough. So candidate applied for an on-roll job. The company offers candidate a third-party payroll for the same package. Question is how much difference it is to work as third-party payroll versus on-roll. Okay, so I believe on-roll means direct offer by the company. And related to that, the next question is what risk can there be there to go to third party payroll when you have worked as an on-roll employee for the previous companies? So interview segments. So anybody, Sumit, Prashant, anyone else? Like to go ahead?
Um, sure, I can start that. This is Sumedh here initially, but definitely, Puneet, I'll give you kudos again for TWT. I do it every time, but every time you share that slide about 200, 300 consecutive sessions, it's mind-boggling. I don't know how you guys do it, but huge, huge round of applause to you guys. You are giving so much back to the community. Um, so in order to answer this question, I would say yes. In India, what happens? See, I worked abroad more than I worked in India, and my mindset is contract jobs pay a lot more overseas than on-roll jobs. And today's market, I'll tell you, there's nothing, no such thing as on-roll, because today you are hired, tomorrow you'll be fired. Okay, it doesn't matter how long you worked in a company, 13, 20, 15 years or 9 years. When the chopping board is out, anyone's role can be chopped. So it can be a really good entry or foot in the door to get into a big company. A lot of times they don't have the budget this year, but in the subsequent years, they might uh, lift the hiring freeze. They might have more budget. So what people do, or what companies do a lot of times, is they hire on a through a contracting company, third party contract. And you often see that even if you send the resume to the company directly, they will call you through some other third party, one of their preferred vendors. You will still get the salary and everything. It's just that for 6 months the company wants to try out how you are doing, how good you are a fit, and then they will go in, and as and when they have time or money or resources and headcount available, they'll give you an on-roll offer. Okay, so yeah, sometimes that contract time can go from 6 months to 9 months to year or longer, and but it's always good to have that. So I would not discourage you from taking a lower salary or a lower benefit package and go on roll. I would still say if you're getting a big company where there is lateral movement possible, get your foot in the door, because once you are on their workday or their hiring HRMS system, you can show that I've already worked here. I know the culture, I know the company, I know the products, and so on and so forth. Becomes easier to get a full-time job in that role, in that company. In terms of risk, I don't think there is too much risk, except one risk, which may be big. Since it's a contract role, they can terminate the contract not just for quality of work, but also because of time or duration, or if one of their project gets shelved, or the project they hired you for doesn't go forward, doesn't get funding, then they can say, sorry, Sumedh, your contract is ending today, although it was a 6 months or a 9 month contract. Okay, so that's the biggest risk that you will have. So when you worked as an on roll, it's always difficult to switch from an on roll to uh, a contracting role, but it's a mindset. If you are ready to take a little bit of a risk, I think I always would jump at that kind of an option, or I have been jumping at that kind of an option in my younger days. Okay, um, so yeah, I'll stop because I know there's a lot of questions. But if you want to follow up, or if you have more follow up questions, anytime just ping me. I'm all over LinkedIn or whatever, TWT. You can ping me offline also.
Okay,
Sure.
so I'll
Yeah,
go
Prashant.
next. Okay, so I really appreciate Sumed's point of view, and that's true. And even this is a situation-based question, and we have observed this trend, what Sumedh mentioned, like now, whether you are in, direct payroll or third-party payroll, when it is chopped, you'll be chopped off. So that's been a trend from like couple of years. But at the same time, that's about job security. But if you compare like other things like your career growth and your benefits, like the on-roll employees, what I have observed as per my experience, and that is like the on-roll direct payroll employees have greater, luxury of having comprehensive benefits, I would say, like in terms of health insurance, medical insurance, the pay perks. They offer a little bit great, and you feel yourself more secure health-wise, and even the sense of ownership in your direct payroll is quite higher compared to the third party. Because what I have observed, even I worked as a third party, and I found like the company always treat you like you were a vendor employee or a third party employee, compared to, so sense of belongingness will be less if you are a third party. And there are some other aspects as well, like the accessibility point of view, where in one of the automotive industry, where they were limiting the accessibility of certain drawings, certain tools and servers, just for confidentiality, and that caused sometimes frustrating. You have to be dependent on someone, on the direct payroll employee, and they provide you the drawings, they extract it, and then they give you. So sometimes it becomes really challenging even to execute your daily work. So, and then the risk part, I would say, uh, the kind of recognition which they get, the direct payroll employees, are less for the from if you compare from the third party payroll. And there are several benefits, like I already mentioned. So job security is one thing which you made mention, but these are some of the factors you must take a decisive, thought before moving from third part, from on roll to third party or third party. So you'll have to take a calculative decision, and also it depends like at which situation you are in. You don't have any job, whether you are already in direct payroll and now you want to move to third party. So all these scenario you will have to calculate for yourself and then take decision. But these are some of the high level points which you must consider. That's mind.
Wonderful. Thank you, both of you, for the answers. I think that gives a very clear picture of what people should be doing. On one of the point, like Sumit mentioned, like uh, you can be fired anytime as a contractor. So I would just like to share one small example about myself. So when I started Tech Strive, after a certain point of time, I realized that I could not continue working also because both the work was too tough to handle. So I quit my job. But at the same time, I was having some free times. So to support myself financially, I started doing some freelancing jobs. And one of those jobs went quite long, started for 3 months. It was all online. One fine day, and it is with a very reputed company. Okay. So one fine day, the the director just calls me for that Puneet, I want just a meeting. I said, okay, sure. And then he simply tells Puneet, we cannot support the budget anymore. I said, okay, thank you. I was smiling and I said, thank you. And then he was like, you're not shocked? I said, no, it's a contract job. What's there to be shocked? I'm always ready for this. And I always have my backup ready. So like, oh, this is the first time it is happening. So, yep, for contract job, the risk factor is there, benefit factor is there. You have to prepare your own roadmap, certainly. Okay, moving on to second question on interviews. There's this question about does processes versus what kind of experience one have. So I will read the question as is. Let's see. Does only having the process experience is enough? For example, I do not know writing tools like Oxygen FrameMaker, but I have experience for ST4. So is this enough? If yes, how to convince interviewer for this? Anyone wants to take this?
Prashant,
Yeah, I can go ahead if nobody
right?
speaks this. Okay. So I'll share my experience. Like, when it comes to the question of these tools, what I have observed in my 14 years of experience is like, tool is something which you learn, right? Unless until you are exposed to, you will not be well versed with it. And it's not a very rocket science kind of thing which requires a lot of like a year of expertise or year of effort. You can learn within 2 weeks, a week, depends on learning your learning agility. Okay, it also might take up to 1 month depending on how complex your writing tool is. ST4, you mentioned ST4, right? ST4 is already it's a structured tool, and the tool which you are mentioning like Oxygen FrameMaker, those are also structured tool. So I think when the question is asked about your tool learning ability, like, since you don't know these tools, how we hire you. So I think you will have to show your willingness to learn. You should pass your learning curve, like explain them how you learn your ST4, what are different offerings which that tool offers, so that the interviewer will closely match like whether you will be able to do it or not. And then show your adaptability, like demonstrate your ability to learn new tools quickly. Provide some examples if you have in your backup when you go for the interview, your past experience where you successfully applied to the new software processes. So those things I think it will help you. And you can explain like, you have all the knowledge, process knowledge, you have worked on this tool, and with the strong foundation of this tool, I think you can learn different tools if given a chance. You should never say, no, I don't know this tool. You should always show your willingness to learn. I think that works. And prepare your these questions well in advance before moving into interview.
So if I can pick one word to Prashant's answer is this word willingness is more important than processes and tools. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
This willingness is equal to attitude. Yes, Chakravarti.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
and I think, sorry. Yeah, I would just like to add, like managers probably what they are looking for is the least onboarding time. Whenever they go for a hire, you have to show that they can get you on board and they can get the work out of you as soon as possible. So you have to show that willingness, the learnability, like Prashant said. So all those things are, I think, the really valid points. And also your skills, even if it is the tool that you might take some time, maybe 2 to 3 weeks to learn, what are your other skills, you can start contributing through. So the onboarding time, I would say, for any manager is very crucial. So just prove yourself on that point, and I think you'll be good to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Jyoti. Yes, Chakravarti.
yes, I'd like to second what Prashant said. Just don't say no, but just say I've never used the tool for documentation purposes at work, but I've worked on similar tools and I'm very quick at learning those tools. We all have access to YouTube and everything. The moment you see the job profile, just go through the tools, go through some intro videos, and that should help you to answer some basic questions. So yeah, I can manage it. I've done it earlier many times.
Certainly. And of course, there are so many tools. At least I'm not sure about the aerospace field and other because I know very less about it. In software documentation, we have our course on this technical documentation tools, and there I simply say go to wiki. There is a wiki page if you are not aware. Technical documentation tools. Hundreds of tools are available listed there. I mean, I have 20 plus years of experience. I'm sure there are many with that kind of experience here in our India. Who can say that they know all the tools? Nobody. So
Just
don't, yeah, Ziba.
one point I would like to add here, Puneet. I agree with what experts have, added here. One thing is that even the person who is applying, and when it comes to a concern on tool, I'm sure if it is an important tool that the company is using, it would have definitely been mentioned in JD, right? So even if you don't know the tool, it is always nice to at least look about it once, see what base of the tool is, and see if you might have the understanding of that or not, and then you will have a better answer to put yourself rather than just going blank and saying, okay, I don't know whatever tool it is. So just that thought from my end.
Right. So all telling this one thing common that, okay, yes, you don't know, not a big deal, but how you present yourself is the big deal. Be ready for that. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next question. I'm just, so yes, experts, you have access to the sheet, but I'm not taking all the questions. Okay. So one question will take how to handle domain specific technical questions. The person says, I did research from my end and was able to answer what I could, but they expected an experience working in the domain and mentioned anyone could read on the internet and answer. So the question is how to handle domain specific technical questions. Please go ahead. Anyone wants to take that?
I will give it a shot. I'm still struggling to completely understand the question, but definitely what I can say is, before you go into any interview, you're not just going in. Please, I have received so many resumes that I have directly and I have shortlisted them based on what they said in the resume. But when they came to the interview, they were completely dumbfounded. They were not prepared. They didn't know what role they had applied for or they were appearing to, and they just said, the recruiter asked me to join this call. It is not the recruiter's career you're talking about, it's your career. So if you don't understand the domain, you have to do some research. Please don't go into an interview completely blank, right? Do some research on the domain of the company that you're going into. uh, Try to reach out on LinkedIn. I've done workshops on LinkedIn before for TWT. I think recordings are out there. um, try to connect with people who work in that capacity, as the product owner, product manager, technical writer, content writer, some role within that company, and try to find out what they do, what is the domain, what kind of solutions or what kind of challenges are they trying to sort out or address through this role that you have applied to as a technical writer. But how to handle domain specific technical questions, there is no silver bullet to it, right? You have to ask them what kind of issues they're having during the interview, and try to interrelate or correlate the experience you've had in the past. Yes, if you worked in fintech or edtech or banking and finance for the last 10 years and now you're moving to manufacturing, you will not have the domain specific experience. But what you're taking over there is the basics that are still always there, which is understanding of technical writing, understanding of editorial reviews, understanding of audience analysis, understanding what kind of tools are going to be used. You might have used st4 and now they're using data, but it's still structured authoring. You might have used madcap flare, they're using framemaker or robohelp. It's still an authoring tool, right? So don't be taken aback or don't be afraid of new tools. As Puneet said, there are millions of tools out there. Half of them, or I've only, let's say, heard of 1% of the authoring tools, and I've used literally many, many, many over the last 30 years. Um, so I would always say try to do your research before you go in, and ask the interviewer one of the first few questions. Don't wait till the end when they ask you, do you have any questions for me? Say before we get started, they say, tell me about yourself. I'll be happy to do that. Can you give me 1 minute before that? I had a question for you. What kind of knowledge, experience, skills, kind of work are you looking for? I have done a lot. I will focus on what is most important for you, right? That shows that you're trying to understand where you are coming from, and you're answering the question for the interviewer, the with him question: what's in it for me? You have done all these great things, but how does that benefit me? So try to connect how does this benefit me to the kinds of answers you give them, right? I think it shows, this question is telling me maybe you're not clear about what the job description might be, or you're trying to apply for a job that you may not have worked in the domain of. Don't be afraid of that. You can go from any domain to any domain, unless of course they say that we want domain expertise. Like I would not work in aerospace, for that's my personal, because I don't understand anything about aerospace, but that's one domain that I may have a little bit of a apprehension working in, right? But I'll let the others jump in. This is what I had to say.
Yeah, I think Chakravarti said in the beginning, raised hand in the beginning. You want to say something?
Yes, Puneet. So I've been
Yeah.
at both ends of the spectrum. Way back in 2006, I sat in front of a Dell laptop. I finished my interview. At the end, they asked me, "Do you know anything about the company Dell?" I don't know why I said that. I don't know. So as you must have already guessed, I never heard back from them. But later, maybe 12 years later, when I was interviewing for a DevOps company, I did all my research and they asked me, "Do you know anything about DevOps?" I said, "I already started some Udemy certification and trainings. I made some progress." And I told them what everything I learned about that domain. They were pretty impressed. And I'd say the technical rounds were the best for that company. And I joined that company as well. So don't worry about domain, do your homework, like all the experts said till now. And don't worry about the feedback that you get during the interviews. Just put your best foot forward. That's all I got to say.
Great. Akash, I see your hand raised. You want to add something?
Yeah, hi Puneet. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Excuse me if there's a background noise. So I would say the question specifically was from me. And to be more specific or to add detail is like the company was into, I would say, virtualization, storage, or networking domain. And I got shot at the interview. And as Sumit added, I did my research. I like studied everything what virtualization is and all those conceptual things. I also got into the products and what they do and how they add value to customers and everything. And in the interview, I was able to answer most of the technical questions, but then the comment or the I mean the feedback or something that I got was, okay, this is something that you have and it's nice. I mean, anyone can go through the internet and answer conceptual questions, but we want someone who has worked in the domain. So that was something, and I got. And there's what my question is, that to face such kind of interviews where you are switching domain, like how would you prepare, uh, like prepare myself or anyone else, apart from what you usually do or which everyone added to it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so let me add few things here. Am I good to go, Puneet? You want
yeah.
to say something?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, as Puneet mentioned in my introduction, like I started my career with aerospace, then automotive, then oil and gas, transportation, now fintech. So, domain keeps on changing, and I think the kind of profession what we are doing, it's a technical writing, and we are everywhere, right? So, and I think we don't have to be domain expertise. What I would say, I understand you need to understand the product, you need to understand the features and all for writing. But even what I have observed in different domains, like not every employee who are already working from last 5 years or 10 years, they are complete domain expert. They are expert in one segment of it, but not all. So expectation from interviewer like having domain expert is really a questionable. I think what they are trying to understand, like they want to evaluate you, how you fit, how will you fit, how they would like to understand what in your previous role you are doing in that domain, and how that closely match to their domain, how well you will perform there. So I think that is the some problems solving skill or abilities they are looking for in the candidate, because it's asking like domain specific, and that to hands-on experience is really questionable. They should not ask this question. Even if they ask, I think you will have to sell yourself by explaining your previous experience, how you demonstrated your handling those technology which you are already working on.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing actually, domain, when we say, and especially what Akash has explained, to be, I mean, I may sound a bit biased, but I will think the interviewer crossed the line there. Because if they wanted somebody, there is always in JD, there are two fields, mandatory requirements versus desirables, right? So if you want somebody that, okay, this domain knowledge, deep knowledge is required, you will mention that in mandatory. Then probably you have some kind of assumptions. Otherwise, if you did not mention and you selected a resume for an interview, you should be ready for that. So yeah, there is some kind of gap there. And I have seen at least in domain specific questions, it has happened. But yeah. So thanks for that question. And I see a very interesting question. And let's see what you guys say. Is there an ideal answer to meet the interviewer's expectation? For example, a question asked, how do you manage priorities? It will have a different perspective based answer. So the question again is there an ideal answer to meet the interviewer's expectation? I think it's a bit of vague question, but a very generic thing, that how do you match the expectation? Is there a formula to it? Any thoughts?
Uh, yeah, I can jump on that one. It's a tough one because it's not a mathematical formula. What will work for me as an interviewee may not work for you, and what will work for me as an interviewer may not work for that other person. So, is an ideal answer to meet interview expectations? I think this goes to how good you are at interviewing yourself. Because as an audience, as a technical writer, you know that we go out and interview subject matter experts, and the kind of questions you ask determines the kind of answers you get. You ask a vague, general, stupid question, you'll get a vague, general, inaccurate answer, right? So if you want to really meet the expectations of the interviewer, you need to know what their expectations are, and don't go in thinking, yeah, I will just answer the way I think is the best. Try to gauge what they're looking for. What is the biggest challenge, as I said before, and what are you trying to solve for them? Like if they're looking for structured authoring and you keep telling them about word, or you keep telling them about robo help, because I have done it, they're going to lose interest in you very, very quickly. Ask them about what they're looking for in terms of is it, if it's a SaaS company, if it's a cloud based company, how do they deploy their application, how do they deploy the documentation, how frequently are they updating it? When you start getting these kind of net, um, bits and pieces of information, then weave all them together into your answer. So it may not happen in the first question that they ask you and you're answering it. You have to know what expectations they have. Only then you can address or meet their expectations, right? Otherwise it's going to be tough. So please try to gauge what they are asking for. Try to ask them about this role, top, top challenges to solve, the first 90 days, the first 15 days onboarding, what tools they are using, and these kind of tools and technology and domain and team size. These things you should know before you go into an interview, way before you go into an interview. There are enough people working in that company who are on TWT, who are on LinkedIn, who are on Facebook, who are on other social media platforms. And I'll tell you, if you reach out to people and ask them for help, they are willing to help. I've done it many times. It really, really helps to know these questions. And that one small thing that before you went into interview can make or break. Suddenly you have an upper hand. How did you find that out? I did my research because I'm a technical writer. I'm good at doing my research. I am showing it to you that I've done the research because I'm come in very well prepared into this interview, right? So gauge their expectations, ask them their expectations, and then answer it. A lot of times I've seen as an interviewing person, we are very scared to ask the interviewer questions on our own. Don't wait till they give you permission or they give you a chance to ask. Ask, lead the interview. Don't be led into the interview. I know it's easier said than done, but that's how I think will give you the best results.
Thank you, Sumit. And I think it gives some idea. And yep, in the interest of time, we will rush a bit for fast. So on the interview, I will share the last question, which is again very interesting, and this gives some extra knowledge also to people. So the question I'll read out is there an ideal duration to answer a question? Not too short or long. I usually prefer the star method. Even I don't know what is the star method. I usually prefer the star method, but sometimes I am cut off by an interviewer even when the answer was relevant but long. And of course, this affects the confidence whether we were answering something else all this time. Very interesting question, I will say. So, is there a specific duration? In short, some answers if we can get.
I think star practice is mostly on the situation-based questions, and when the interviewer give you a situation and they try to understand how you responded in that situation. Okay, so I think there is nothing as such like you have 10 seconds to answer this question or there are 20 minutes to answer. You have to engage yourself with the interviewer, looking at their facial uh, key, impressions, like how, whether he is being impatient with your answers, you are giving a lengthy answer, so try to be concise and relevant, stay to the topic, stay to the questions, and uh, before why it happens when you take a lot of time, because you have not done enough practice, you have not done enough mock interviews, maybe with your friends, with your colleagues, or maybe with your I mean, who somebody can, you start practicing that, try to practice to complete it within a limited time, like within, which can be very concise. uh, so, and I think that way you can definitely make a win there.
That's a good point. Yep.
Sorry, I I can't help but jump in here. I love this question. Star basically means it's the situation, task, action, and results, right? What was the situation? What was the task that you were given? What actions did you take to solve that challenge or task, and what were the results? And this is a very common behavioral technique of asking questions of how you would behave, as Prashant rightly said. One of the things is, and again, Prashant alluded to that, if you say I'll answer this in 30 seconds, it won't work because it may take a minute or it may be 10 seconds, maybe too long. Facial
I think it
expressions,
also
as
depends
Prashant.
on the complexity of the question, like how
Yeah,
much time you take.
exactly.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Star
Yeah.
works the best over here because you can say, I have worked on a very similar situation. And I think if these are the kinds of situations you have, I'm the best person. So plug, put in a plug, put in a call to action for them to hire you by saying these things, psychologically it makes a big difference that you are confident enough. Secondly, um, you have to observe their body language. If they are starting to get jittery, looking everywhere and
Yeah.
started to look at the phone, started to look at the laptop, it's time to wrap up that question. It may also be time from that interviewer's perspective to wrap up the whole interview because you might be rambling on and on. Try to be very concise and to the point, right? And number two, a lot of times good interviewers do this often. They try to see your breaking point. So while you're thinking you're answering the question very nicely, they'll say, okay, move on, next. You know, they want to see how quickly you get irritated, how quickly you lose your cool, and it shows. You won't say kya kar raha hai be. You will never say that. But what you will do is you'll start jittering, your body language will change, you'll start blinking, you'll start rolling your eyes, and those are the things that they are looking for. So be calm, observe their body language, and ask them, I've given you a short version right now. If you want to dig deeper or you want to explore a certain aspect of what I just said, I'm happy to do that. But in the interest of time, I've kept it short. But I have a lot of samples or I have a lot of star stories, examples. And a lot of times I've faced this situation in the past that I'll be happy to explore further. That gives the control back to the interviewer, saying, yeah, I want to dig deeper, or say, no, I think you know your shit. Let's go on, right? Let's go to the next point. So you have to play it a little bit, based on the situation and that moment.
Great. So, yep, I mean, to make the serious environment lighter, I will just crack a joke here. The situation is simple that I am answering something and the other person, for some reason, cuts me short and I feel don't happy. So I will say, all of us in our life may be having boyfriend or girlfriend someday or sometime in our life. So think about that scenario when you were talking. Was the other person, very much interested for your long answers? If not, read the body language. That's the best time to read the body language rather than interviewers. But anyway, yep. Jyoti, you want to add
Yeah.
something?
Yes, Puneet. So I completely agree with what Prashant and Sumit did. But what I feel is when we usually go for interviews, there is a lot of anxiety that is playing on our mind, and we're not calm enough. So when the question is given to you, when interviewer asks the question, I would say just take a little, take that moment, take a little bit of pause, gather your thoughts, and just be to the point. I think that one pause will really make a shift in how you're going to answer the question. And yes, rest of the things definitely apply, like you have to read the body language and you have to gauge what they're looking for. And I really like the idea, like Sumit mentioned, you give a short answer and then ask if they want you to elaborate. So awesome, thank you.
Puneet,
Great.
sorry, just at the
Yes.
risk of taking a little longer, one 30-second thing. I want to ask the crowd here. When do you think is the best time to give an interview? Or what is the best time to give interviews?
Are you
When you
talking about,
desperately need a job?
I thought you're talking about season, summer, winter.
No. Throughout the year, what is the best time in your career to give an interview?
Okay, people, you can answer, type, or you can unmute
Type
yourself and
or
speak
just
up
blurt it
also.
out. Yeah, let's hear your voices.
Hey Sumit, it's a highly subjective question. Uh, uh, there are times where we feel stagnant but still want to be in the one company. On the other hand, at the early start of the career, if that stagnancy is there, then I would say that is the right time to move.
Okay.
I think Kunal says in chat, when you are not looking actively for job, all of you are able to see chat, then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't have to read.
yeah. So I think Kunal, you hit it bang on. See, the worst time to be giving an interview when you desperately are looking for a job because you are nervous. Milega ki nahi? Will I get it? Will I not? Then they ask you about salary. I need the job desperately, but I don't want to go down in my previous CTC. And these are all possibilities, and you end up lowballing yourself. You have 10 lakhs there, though, when actually your worth is 20 or 25 or whatever. So the best time to be looking for a job is when you are not looking for a job. Okay, the best time to be giving an interview is when you're not looking for a job. Don't go all the way where they give you an offer letter and say, yaar mere ko to chahiye hi nahi tha, I just came for a ride. But keep yourself engaged with the job market, give some interviews, and the minute you think that it's going in the positive direction, either you go and take the job or you come out of it. But you need to have this practice of negotiating, of answering questions. Now I give interviews every month, every 2 months I give an interview. At least I send my resume and keep checking, mere ko kitna if I send 10 resumes in 3 months, how many times am I getting a call back? Is it going to the client, or is it just the recruiter saying, hey, I'll call you, and then nothing happens? It gives me a feel of the market. I also think when you're asking for 12 lakhs and they say, no, we can only give you 10, then you say, then sorry, I will not be able to join you because it's a bit too low. Then you can see what your boundaries are, how far can you go, right? But again, do it ethically. Don't go around wasting people's time. But this is something that I would strongly suggest. Give an interview to keep yourself warm. Okay.
Great. So, okay, so now actually with this interview thing has taken a lot of time already. It's already 11:45 and the closure time is 12:15. So we will try to move you a bit faster. But I can't help but take up this question of Bala in chat related to interview. Is it okay to drop out of the interview if the panelist is looking at the phone after asking a question and not paying attention to my answer? So my answer ideally would have been like a normal scenario if I'm talking to somebody and that person is looking at the phone and I will say, oh, right now looks like you are busy. I will come talk to you later. Of course, in interviews, we cannot say I will come back later because they have to call us. So any answer to this?
I think absolutely yes from my side. Why? Because uh, I understand the requirement. Like you are looking for the job, the same time the interviewer is also looking for the candidate because they need you. So I think this is the time when you have to politely say your reason why you want to back out from this interview. And I don't know at what expertise level the people are interviewing when they are looking they are missing this basic etiquettes in interview. But you have total right to back out from this interview.
Yeah.
Um, I'll jump in. I have a slightly different take on this. It may be a situational thing where an escalation is happening, or that guy's son is in the hospital and doctor messaged or wife messaged. I would give the benefit of doubt and say, whatever Mr. John or whoever the guy is, um, it looks you're a little uh, diverted. Would you like to reschedule the interview? Or would you like to talk to me at a later point in time? Um, I don't want to keep you from other tasks that you may be of higher priority. What that does is it tells them that I'm observing you. It also puts them under pressure and makes them a guilt feeling, that um, y- this is my time because you gave me this time. I didn't ask you for 12 o'clock today. You told me to come at 12 o'clock today and I'm here. So the least courtesy you can provide to me is be on the call with me or focus. And second, it also tells them that you are a you can't just be taken lightly, right? So if I'm going to drop, I would rather give it to them and drop. But if I just drop, then I'm burning my bridges for the next time also. So I would give them a chance to explain to me why they are distracted, and then say, okay, let's meet a bit later on. Because while I'm in the interview thinking, yaar, ye sun raha hai ki nahi sun raha hai, what's going on? It's not a good um, environment to be giving that interview either. So I'm a little bit of an aggressive person. So I would say if you're distracted, we can always meet later.
Very nice. I think I completely agree with that kind of approach. At least let them know that you are not comfortable with the situation. That's
Yeah.
it. Okay, so thank you so much for this interview segment questions and all. And yeah, I know there are multiple other things to talk, but people, you understand, we are a bit on a time leash also. I can clearly see that we will be crossing 12:15, so please bear with us. And so we will move to the next segment. And yeah, I would just also request others, participants, I mean, there are some questions coming in the chat. I'm sure there are participants here who may love to answer. You can also feel free to answer at least in the chat part. So moving on. So we go to the interview rejection. So for interviews, before moving to the next segment, I would just like to share a survey result. This when I was planning for this, so I incidentally found this survey result. You all know, if you are in our WhatsApp group, you know we have this habit of conducting multiple kind of surveys. So on Jan 9th, we conducted one survey with the question that what do you think is the primary reason for rejection in interviews? And we ran this in our leadership group also, and we ran this in all the other groups also. So we got around 387 votes. So this, I'm just listing how we got it. Reasons by recruiters for rejection. You just see this. I'm not going to read it. Okay. Reasons by candidates. I'm not going to comment anything here. But I just wanted all of you to check this, that now this is coming direct from the recruiters. When I say recruiters, it's the technical documentation managers. And when I say candidates, it's like any of us, juniors, seniors. What in general people feel, the most interesting thing I found was bad luck, although I don't have any explanation for it. But anyway, so that's the result. And I'm sure all of you may be finding some more reasons to it. One thing I would just like to add, okay, we have a lot of questions already in the sheet, and we have some questions here also. What we will do is we will request those questions that we are not able to take right now. We will ask our mentors here to later find some time and answer it in the spreadsheet. And that spreadsheet we will share with all of you, provided you are in that career group, WhatsApp group, or else we will email it to you. Okay, so there you can access. So let's move on to the hiring insights. And again, the same trend thing we will follow here. We will take up just a few questions. So actually, Gaurav and Prashant has nominated themselves for them. Gaurav is not here, but yeah, Prashant is here, and anybody else who would like to say. So we will just take a few questions here. First of all, let's take the simple question in the interest of everyone here. What is the technical writing hiring process? So in a simplified way, if we can just jot it down, 4 steps, 5 steps, what is the technical writing hiring process? Prashant, you want to take, or anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to, I mean, it's not as if we got up and I have taken this opportunity, but yeah, Sumedh, I see he has a lot of expertise. Even he can jump in, and others, people who in from the mentor side, they
Okay.
have faced this.
Yeah.
So I'll let it pass discussion to others also.
Sure. Yeah, no. Perfect. What is the technical writing hiring process in general? Okay.
In general, I mean, look, I, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how it is specific to India. I'll give you a general thing that I've seen. Generally, the recruiter calls you, or the talent acquisition person would call you, do a prelim round of, shortlisting, this, that. The second round would be either a technical hiring manager round, followed by a written assignment or a test. Written assignments are less common overseas: Canada, US, Australia, Singapore, the four places that I've worked for 20 years. I haven't seen too many. I've only given 2 or 3 written assignments overseas. In India, I've seen it more commonly across the board. If you pass that, again, you might have a second technical answer question round where people might judge you based on the answers you gave. It may not be a right or wrong answer, but why did you say that, or why did you trying to understand your thought process. That would be the second round or third round. And then the final round could be, there's a broad range, right? So the other way, where they might have other team members also meet you, so maybe not just managers and other managers, but technical writing team members might meet you, because you are going to be working most closely with them. So they also have to find that you are a good fit. You can also be sure that you are joining a team that's going to be a good fit for you from your personality, skills, and all that. And finally, I've also given interviews where the director of product management, or program management, or project management, product, project, and program, any one of these people might interview you. I had, I think this was in TIPCO or iCertis or somewhere, where the director of customer success had interviewed me also. So that can be a wide range. And then finally, to make an offer, you might see an HR. Of course, I'm talking full-time senior writer role, on role. When it comes to hiring through a third party, it's going to be a completely different thing. You'll send in resume to the third party vendor. They will send it. They won't shortlist you. They'll just send it to the hiring manager. You'll have a round, uh, and then that's it. Because the vendor is not interested in your skills and match. They will just send you the resume. So it's a huge uh, range of process.
Yeah, but I would like to say, like, first of all, if the person simply asked the question, they should have given some background here, what exactly they mean. Because what is the technical writing process? So, like Sumit explained, and if you just pick the points, it's a simple thing. You're either you apply, or you are being chased online, LinkedIn or somewhere. People knock your door that, okay, here you want to apply. So so first of all, apply. Then in technical writing, I some companies have written test first. Some companies have interview first. That's it. So, but both the rounds will be there. From every rounds, there are different kind of expectation, and then you have senior management round, and then you have HR round. That's the technical writing process. So, yes, whomsoever asked this question, I'm sorry to say, but yeah, simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the thing. If you wanted more detail, you can feel free to type in here, or you can ask. Okay, so now quickly, uh, one question is about this question has been coming a long, quite a long time. In groups also, we see this, like after for senior technical writers, for experienced technical writers, and if anybody has any insight on it, it will be great. After 14 years of experience in technical documentation, is struggling to find a job in the market now, as organizations look for candidates having 4 to 5 years of experience generally. So the question is, what should experienced people do? So just to, before somebody gives the answer, just to give a brief, yes, based on the experiences that we see of the jobs, number of jobs and all, certainly number of jobs are lesser. But I have a counter question. And Sumit, Jyoti, Prashant, all of you are like 10 plus years of experience and all. When was the time when you saw that for 10 years, 15 years experience, there were a lot of jobs? Wasn't it always like that, that the jobs published for experienced people was quite lesser than juniors? Wasn't it?
Yeah, how the tides have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because people are looking for experience. Now companies are looking for cost cutting, right? Um, and it's not that they're not hiring experienced people. The problem is they are hiring experienced people at less experienced rates. I mean, if you were commanding $90 or $100 an hour, you are now saying, boss, I'm getting someone with 5 years of experience. I don't need your 15 years at $38, $40 an hour. Again, sorry, my mindset is always towards the Canada US market. But let's say you have 14 15 years of experience, you're asking for 30 lakh salary. I'm getting someone with 6 years of experience in 18 lakhs or 12 lakhs. Why would I spend the extra 12 lakhs on you? What is it that you're bringing me? I'm bringing this, that, A, B, ugly, this, that, and falana dimkana. I don't care about all that. I don't have money. You pay a crore and get a Range Rover, but all you have money for is a I don't know, whatever,
Wagoner.
a Toyota. So that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to afford,
Yeah.
Okay.
right?
But at the same time, I will add to all those anxious people who feel that, okay, yes, based on the trends I'm seeing, based on the jobs group we are running, and based on other things that I see, yes, there are lesser number of jobs. There are more jobs for people who are like 2 years to 10 years experienced. Certainly, there are more jobs. And of course, it's not like we don't have jobs, especially in India. Jobs are there. But yeah, there are companies which are looking for experienced people also. So yeah, there may be the numbers may be lesser, but yeah, there are some. It's not such a situation where there is a complete drought. If you are an experienced person, so as Sumait mentioned, first, you also need to see what the market needs. I will give you some very common example. So, and this is not to demean anybody, but just to tell you, share the real example with you. Many people join our WhatsApp groups. They reach out to me on LinkedIn or somewhere only when they need job. Otherwise, for general discussions and all, they don't think that, okay, that any group is important for them. They are the lion or lioness, okay, walking alone. But the point that I'm trying to tell is they reach out for jobs, and at times I talk to them. Then I realize, although they have 15 years of experience, they have been working in one company. That company could be a corporate, okay, for such a long period that their skill set is not matching with the market also. They have been, a real good technical writer in their company, but when they go to the market, I think Sumait or Prashant or somebody mentioned somewhere, keep upskilling also. So even if you are not getting the opportunity in your organization, keep upskilling. Otherwise, directly if you come out for such a job hunt, at times there is a skill mismatch also. So just the numbers, okay, I have 15 years, I have 20 years, doesn't show that value. And of course, salary is back up challenge. Moving
I
on
have
to another,
few. Can I add few
Uh,
lines?
quickly, just
Okay.
few lines.
So the very important thing, I know this is fear of 14 years of experience, but like you both said, there are jobs. I understand the budget constraints and all, but at the same time, instead of approaching only for the job to the community people, you need to engage with the community, something like TWT and all, where you need to participate in the conferences, attend the seminars, webinars, so that you are connected with all the experienced writers, managers, leaders in the industry. And when you present all your latest trends which you are equipped with, if you are equipped, then it's really well in advance. If you are not, you will have to equip your self with the latest trends and present all those thoughts and all with the broader audience. That will definitely help you. In short, yeah, that's it.
Now, Jyoti, you wanted to add something?
Uh, yeah, Puneet. So I'm not sure. I've been a freelancer for last 5, 6 years. Not where I don't know whether my thought is correct or not, but just that it came to my mind. So I wanted to share that. I think in Indian market, when we are talking about 15 years of experience as an IC, as an individual contributor, that becomes a little, not that much acceptable because I think in Indian market they expect you to move towards a little bit of leadership roles as you head towards 15 years of experience. And if you say that I'm a senior technical writer or technical writer at 15 years of experience, I think Indian market is not able to accept that. That's what I think. If you go abroad, I think you will find even 30 years of experience and still working as a technical writer only. So that is also one shift I feel is there in Indian market. Maybe some of you can validate that if that's correct or not. Just
Maybe, I don't know. But good point, certainly, because we do see a bit of challenge in that. Okay, on hiring, we have one last question to take up from the list we have. How to tackle the expected CTC question at the screening call, as most of the calls will not tell you their budget, but will reject you straight away without interview if your expectation does not match. How to tackle the expected CTC question? How to tackle? Any thoughts, anyone?
I think this is a really tricky question, and when it comes to asking the an expectation, uh, for me is like you should know your worth before asking. Like you should evaluate yourself and similar experience. Like if you have 14, 15 years of experience, what offerings are there in the market? You should also follow the salary trend surveys and all, which oftenly the agencies are doing that, and that way you will be able to place yourself in better position to ask the expected CTC. And it is always good to try to know from the interviewer also, like what is their budget. If you are able to know that, that's really good. If they don't provide, just give them a range and try to be flexible around that. I think that will work. In short, I won't stretch this a lot.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's how some questions are tricky, and some answers are not so, we cannot tell much.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
one
I would,
last question. Yeah.
sorry, just quickly jump in. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Puneet. What I would do is generally give you a very high level range. So if you're looking for 15, say 12 to 15 or 15 to 18 or between 15 and 20 lakhs, but then follow it up and make it dependent on perks, benefits, other factors, that we can discuss further. So at least they get an idea ki, theek hai, he won't go below 15, he's not asking for 30. So you are in a discussion zone at that point by keeping it really, really big, long range.
Yeah, and if you are flexible, probably you can always add in the end, I'm
Yeah,
flexible. That's it.
yeah.
So, okay, now last question, I think, because many people keep on asking more about remote and hybrid. So I think we should take this question. And as Bhavna is also here, so welcome, Bhavna. So we can probably have one moment to answer. So question is, if we are looking for a certain mode of technical writing job, whether hybrid, on-site or remote, how much of the decision making depends upon the lead or the manager? Is the decision taken solely on the basis of the company's policies outlined? So I think the question is about hybrid, on-site or remote. Who takes the call?
Depending on the size of the company, it's a company policy, or if it's a one senior person that you are reporting to, then that person is responsible. So I think it depends on the size of the company
Yeah.
and how long you've been there. If you've proven your worth over the last couple of years and they know, boss, you are good, and whereas if they have to keep an eye on you all the time, saying kya kiya, ye kiya, how, if you require a lot of follow up, then I would say it becomes more difficult to get an on remote kind of a perk.
Exactly. So
Just to add to what Sumit said, so this it's basically the company policy. Many companies have now 2 days or 3 days from office, and some even have 5 days from office. But then many times, once you prove yourself, means if you complete a release cycle and they start trusting you, and you build that kind of rapport with the product teams and all, then people become flexible. They give you some options. If you have some other things to take care, means once or twice in a week, then you can work from home. So it takes some time, but slowly I think you can build that flexibility. But it won't be like complete change, because company policies also take a precedence. Thanks.
certainly, thank you, Bhavna, for that insight. So, yep, I think that's the clear cut. If there is a company policy, I don't think any manager of any team will have this freedom. Company policy directly comes from the management. Nobody can overrule it. Okay. But at least in the opposite situation, there are situations like companies saying that work from home or hybrid is allowed. But then probably there is the one manager who asks his or her team, no, I'm coming to the office. You will also have to come to the office. That becomes kind of tricky, but otherwise, I think, yeah, first of all, company policy. And then second part is your manager. Okay. So okay, so that's about the hiring part. And then now, thank you all for answering this. And now, basically, we move to resume part. Okay, so for resume, what do we have? Some questions. And let's see if any other questions can come up. So resume part, first question. So all the mentors can already take this, see this. How to make single page resume with more number of experience. Is this mandatory? So I think Chakravarti has already mentioned the single page resume is mandatory in Europe and US. You can summarize your achievements in each job and create a single page resume. Any other pointers? Question, how to make single page resume with more number of experience? Is this mandatory?
Uh, this
I
question is, if you ask 20 people, you will get 25 answers because I have three answers for this question and they're all differing. So, uh,
Okay, you can go ahead with one answer, right?
what I would say is your resume represents you, okay? And you have to be comfortable with it. If a company says, give me a one pager, very few companies do that, by the way. I have noticed even in the US and Canada, they want to know about your team size, tools used, environment, technology, processes you have been part of. Have you done Scrum? Have you done product? They want to know a lot of how and why you're a good fit with before they call you for an interview. My resume, I've tried to put it on one page. I did a very, very bad job at it. Never got any calls.
Sorry, my laptop's on right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank God for my backup laptop. Um, so now I have a 6 to 7 page resume where I've written so much about my tools and technologies and people I've managed, kinds of teams I've led, what kind of IC work I've done, editorial checklists, this, that. So I totally don't agree with the one pager crap because it doesn't paint a clear profile about you when you're doing that. So I would say go with a longer one.
Okay, thank you. I think somebody else was trying to speak for this.
Yeah, this is Bhavna.
Yeah,
Actually, just being part of the hiring team is, I think 2 to 3 pages are good enough. Means 2 pages are the best. Uh, so in that case, what happens? You just focus on like what is the requirement, job requirement, and accordingly you should tailor your resume and highlight the points which would make sense for the new company to look. So many times you have to tailor your resume as per the job requirements.
Absolutely. And I think it's nothing mandatory. Like you have to have a one-page resume. Only thing is, even if you have two-page resume, you need to make sure that the most information on the first page instead of putting it at the last page or somewhere else. And try to reduce the irrelevant experiences, like very old experience and all. Try to keep it current. That will hurt.
yeah. So probably that key highlight which many people add in the beginning.
Yeah.
So that you highlight the main things about whatever you want to say. Okay, so quickly on resume, I think there are similar kind of questions. So I will just say the keywords so all of you can just pick and speak about it. One question asks, what keywords should be in my resume? Then, okay, sorry. Before that, I just quickly tell this question. What does the interviewer look for in any candidate's resume and how to make a work portfolio? So for that, Chakravarti has already mentioned. The interviewers look for role fitment. They check if you have all the required skills needed for that role. Organize your writing samples effectively into a portfolio. I think that answers that's pretty well. So Next, among other questions, I will just take the keywords here. One question says, what keywords should be in my resume? Then another way says that how to rephrase your resume in a way that highlights the best possible skill sets. I think it's kind of same. So do we think about keywords and all? And there is another thing in terms of keywords I would like to say. Many people keep on asking that their resume is selected based on the, tools that they feed in the tool, some keywords and all. So what do you guys think about it? So how should one project their resume in terms of keywords and all?
This
I think
is
that's when a
yeah.
ATS
Go ahead.
system. Yeah, go ahead, Sumit. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead first.
No, oh, sorry.
Let's.
I mean, there's a double-edged sword because when you go through a gatekeeper like a talent acquisition or HR, they're looking for keywords because they may or may not understand all the keywords. They just say कि ये होना चाहिए and that's it. Those are mandatory skills. But a hiring manager, a technical manager who you are actually going to be reporting to will say, हाँ ठीक है, for me these are important but not must-haves. And that person is going to judge you based on what your skills are, not necessarily based on your keyword. So your resume has to be a good match of your skills as well as the keywords that are coming out of the job description. How you get the keywords, it's a very touch and go thing. So I have tested this out very, very closely. I've done a workshop on this before. I use a certain word cloud tool to gather my keywords. That word cloud gives you the keywords based on a job description that you copy paste in there. Okay, and the way it pulls out the keywords is exactly how an ATS uses the algorithm to see what are the trending words, how many times a word appears, how many number of times throughout the job description. There are multiple ways that an ATS ranks a keyword, right? So it's very difficult to answer how to do a resume based on keywords in a 3-minute theoretical session. We will probably need half an hour to 45 minutes just to understand what a resume should or should not have. Um, but yeah, it's really tough to answer that question. But use some word clouds to pull out the keywords from that job description, and those should be sprinkled throughout your LinkedIn or your job throughout your resume, whether it's 1 or 3 or 5 pages.
Sure. That sounds good. And I think in the interest of time right now, because it's 12:15, and we will try to wind up just 15 minutes late. So, but there is one question on resume part, I think, which is very important, LinkedIn. Okay, so there is one question, and that may help others also know how to get your LinkedIn profiles noticed when we apply for jobs. Who reaches out exactly when we apply? So, what do you guys think about it?
Who reaches? It's like definitely a recruiter, the hiring managers, the agencies, the hiring agency. They are the people who reaches to you for this. How you can make an appealing LinkedIn profile is depends like you need to have a professional photo. I have seen like people have posted pictures, profile pictures playing guitar or something. I think that's not recommended. Put a professional photo there, put a catchy headline there, which will help definitely outline your skills and goals and the keywords that recruiters are looking for. Like I said, like write a complete compelling section where you define your professional journey there, showcase some of the samples work which you have done best in your career. Those skill, I think that will help you in when it comes to LinkedIn profile.
Okay, I think so. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. So I think fill your LinkedIn profile with all kind of details. That's what Prashant is suggesting, and I think probably yes, let's do that in the right way. In filling the content, please, don't fill it with a lot of details. You want to make sure that they should see only the right kind of content which can attract them. Okay, so thank you so much for both the interviews and resume round. And now we will quickly move to career growth. So career growth within the tech writing field and outside the tech writing field. So there is one question. So I don't know if somebody can take it. And I'm not sure if the person is there. The question in career growth within the tech writing field: as a Brazilian, how can I win a job to start my international career as a technical writer? Sumit,
Okay.
international player.
Yeah. So I was going to jump at this one myself. It really doesn't matter whether you're international or not. What matters is the steps you take to get your projects. Again, LinkedIn is the best tool to do that. You have to show yourself in terms of how do you prove that you have an expertise. No one is going to come to you because you want to move to a freelancing international career. Okay, you have to stand out. What makes you stand out? A couple of things. One, a good profile, obviously, which is optimized for the kind of projects you'll be looking for. If you're going after manufacturing technical writing jobs versus healthcare technical writing jobs versus banking, your keywords are going to change definitely. So that keyword part comes in again. Number two, you need to be active in groups that are discussing that kind of authoring tools or challenges that the banks, edtech companies, healthcare are having, and say, this is how I can, this is how I have done it before. So you try to give your expertise in LinkedIn chat groups or community groups, right? You join the groups that have the maximum number of people and be very, very, very visible, because a lot of people who are not active on that group may be hiring managers. They may be looking for the kind of things you're saying, the skills you have, the knowledge you have, the overall thought process is what you're giving to those companies or to those discussions that are going on. And you know what? Before you know it, you will actually start getting calls from people or others on that group that say, hey, I'm facing the same kind of situation, can you help me? And that slowly turns into freelancing gigs, right? I may be sounding a little oversimplified, but trust me, I've done this for 15 years. Only the last 5 6 years I've been in a full-time job. I've always been a freelancer, always. I used to run my company in Canada, and almost about 99% of my projects came from LinkedIn. So you should be getting number of views. Always keep an eye on number of views you're getting back. It's called, how many people looked at your profile in the last 90 days. If it's in the 300, 400, 500 range, then you're not even scratching the surface. So there are a lot of things you can do to be active on LinkedIn. The more number of profile views you get, the higher your chances are of getting a call, and that converts into a gig. uh, so LinkedIn is a huge thing. I don't go on Facebook or Insta or things like that. I'm completely focused on LinkedIn because I don't have time to be knowing all these 15 different platforms. LinkedIn is the best tool. Trust me. If you want to start your freelancing career across the globe, it doesn't matter where you are. As long as the company is willing to go out there, they trust you and they can afford you, you should be good, right? So, I
Great.
mean, I'm only just giving you 1/10 of what I could have given time. So
Yeah.
sorry to be so
For
brief.
rest they can connect. This is just an overview overview
Yeah,
segment.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, but that gives a quite a lot of knowledge, Sumit. So thank you so much. And I was expecting this from you, that you will be able to help us. Okay, so now the next question. So one person can take. I have so the this is basically transition into technical writing, and when I say technical writing, it is software documentation. Many people have asked different kind of question. I will just summarize it with one question. I have 14 years plus experience in aerospace technical publication. So let's just consider any other background. Now, the main question is, I want to switch to technical writing, or else I want to start career in technical writing. So people, what do you guys suggest for somebody who either has a background somewhere else or else wants to start a career in software documentation? What all they should do to start that career? Jyoti, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, Puneet. So, I think if someone is transitioning from some other phase, so there are two aspects to it. One is someone is doing the technical writing part already, okay, and the other one you said that someone is switching to technical writing. So these are two different things I would say. Like, if you are already doing technical writing somewhere else, you are already, probably aware about the writing stuff at least. And now you have to, when you're coming to software writing, so you are going to, get used to the tools that are being used in the software. You also need to know the technologies that are being used. So the language is a basic brush up, you know, that code comprehension and all those things you need to come up with. And if you're already writing somewhere else, and so this is the case, and if you are switching altogether, I would suggest you are probably doing, maybe sometimes people come from business analyst role, or sometimes from the testing background or something, and you are completely switching to the technical writing part. Then there is a different set of skills that you need to actually work on, like how good you are at writing, what are the areas that you need to work on from the writing perspective. And of course, the tools you need to learn. There are a few, if you're working in a aerospace technology, you're already writing, you probably already know some of the authoring tools or basics of it. But if you're coming all the way from different field altogether, then you need to know about all the tools and stuff like that as well, the structured authoring and all the concepts you need to learn.
Processes, tools, yeah.
Process tools,
And
yeah.
yeah. And one thing I would like to add to this is, at least somebody who is switching fields, have a portfolio. That gives a lot of confidence when you are applying. Have a portfolio. You can find on LinkedIn, you can find through general discussion what else is required. Of course, we need the skill set. If we are jumping into a new field, we need to match that skill set. Just because we are somebody somewhere else doesn't help that much. Okay, so yep, so thank you, Jyoti, for this. And we will quickly now move to another question. This is about a senior person. So the career, for career growth, I have what is the question? 1 second. What factors should one consider for remaining IC, individual contributor, after 15 years of experience? So somebody has 15 years of experience and they want to continue as individual contributor. So what factors should one consider
I think
for
we already
remaining?
addressed this question, right, Puneet? I mean, uh, being 15 years of experience, you need to
Oh, yeah,
be,
that question that we
yeah,
take, that whether the jobs are
yeah,
available or not. Okay,
yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep. So thank you. Yep, I forgot that. Sorry. Okay, so anything, what are the tools required to start? Jyoti already mentioned that. How to start a career? What is the clear roadmap? Anything? Okay, one last question to this. So somebody is worried about this. I think they have asked in this chat also. If I join multiple companies in multiple fields early in my career, does that experience make a difference in interview when people see my CV? And if so, how should we handle it? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think excessive changing does give the impression of a job hopper. This is quite common when you are going from one job to the other. In that case, I would suggest people go with a functional resume as opposed to a chronological resume, because then what you can do is based on not the companies you worked in but the projects you worked in, despite what skills you have. So I would present myself a little differently when I'm doing a freelancing or this kind of a job, than going with a standard resume saying I've never been a technical writer before the first time, but before that I was in sales, before that I was in marketing, before that I was with XYZ company. I can tell you from my experience, I've had this issue because in last 10 years, well, in my first 15 years of my career in technical writing, I think I had about 25 companies I'd worked for, because all my projects were 3 to 6 months, maximum being in a year. That was my lucky project. Okay, projects don't go that long. My average duration was 4.5 months. When I came back to India, my first job with the company that I had a nightmare of a situation trying to explain to them कि last 20 years में why have I worked with 28 companies? Okay. And these were all contracts. So yeah, you need to have a good justification. Sometimes you're a mother, you've just, pregnancy leave, whatever it is. They want to see that. Ultimately the company wants to know you're going to join us for 6 months and go, and all the time that I've spent training you, getting you up to speed, when your time comes to deliver, you're gone, and they've wasted 6 months in training you. They just want to know that you're not going to do that with them. That's their bottom line.
Okay, thank you. Um, okay, just I think one question I see in the chat here, although it's on resume, so I will go back to this. I have been working as a technical writer in a financial domain for the past 12.8 years. How to tweak my resume when you apply for other domains, especially software domain? Anybody wants to answer this? How to tweak resume? I'm not sure though, but probably we have covered it already, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it should not be just about, tweaking the resume. It should also be like, how will you tweak your skills? Are you really good enough to be in, showcase that, okay, I can do software as well. So that should be the mindset, first of all. And of course, we already addressed that if you're switching fields, there are certain things that you need to learn and be hands-on, have your portfolio ready, do some, maybe freelancing gigs or something for open source so that you can prove that you can do this as well. So
Right.
that will help.
Great. Yeah. So that's all about career in technical writing, more or less and there are questions about what is the job market for remote working and all we have already discussed. So thank you for this segment. And the last segment, we will move on to the career switch beyond technical writing field. So there was a question for which I have already pasted the question, need to understand growth options and careers beyond or related to tech writing. So the question and the answers by Zeba and Sumit, those were there. So I have already mentioned there. And so that I hope is good. There is one last question on moving outside or some other field. So I think this will interest many. A freelancing job. Okay, so how we can have this as the last question from the segment section. How to start freelancing while doing a job, how to set your prices initially, that's too many. But how to start freelancing while doing a job, that's number one question I will give. And what are the platforms to get to work as a freelancer? So anybody wants to take up that?
Uh,
Yeah,
as
so
a
I think.
freelancer, yeah, I can jump. I mean, I've just posted 2 or 3 links on things that I've done in the past, webinars or whatever I've done. So there is something on freelancing as a tech writer. You can go through it. Because it's a 1.5 hour webinar that I've done, and there is something on optimizing resume, and there's another on working as a remote writer. All of these will give you ideas on how to update your LinkedIn profile, how to optimize your job resume for a specific job, and how to optimize your LinkedIn for a specific kind of a role, technical writer, management, freelancer, and all that. Unfortunately, I really, it's impossible to give an answer in a couple of seconds. But what you have to do is look look at what is trending right now. What are people looking for in technical writers? Is it the tool? I would never focus on the tools, but I would always focus on, I pride myself in solving challenges. That's what people want. Um, People who solve problems. And you can put in your LinkedIn profile the star stories we talked about. Here's how I solve these kind of issues. Whether it's process related, whether it's tools related, whatever. So please, I'm not trying to market my tools. I'm not going for more subscribers or anything. Don't like it, don't subscribe, but just go through it, because I've taken the time to put whatever I know about these things into a webinar, and then ping me if you have further questions. But this should answer most of your questions that you had about starting a freelancing career, optimizing your LinkedIn profile or your jobs. And managers like Bhavna, please excuse me, I'm not trying to have your employees, use these skills to join some other companies.
Wonderful. Okay, so thank you so much, Sumit, for that answer. And we had this open forum also, but I'm so sorry, we are already much ahead of time and I don't want to take more. One thing I will certainly say, look, all of you have realized that even we have tried to take as many questions as possible. We took around 10-15 questions, but the time is always less with this kind of topic. That's where I say, please don't wait for online events. So many groups are there. WhatsApp groups are there. Please ask your question. You see these, the mentors here, many of these mentors are in those groups. And plus, there are many more. Please ask their question there also. Okay, so Sumit, the links that you have shared, when we will share the link for recording, we will include that also. I hope you don't mind that.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the open forum question, we had some question and I will just answer it. I will read it and answer. One question is how Git is important for tech writers. Zeva mentioned very important when you understand the reason why it is used and the ease with which it can be used, you know why is it being widely used. So it is very important. Then we had another question about is technical writing having high demand in future? Sumit said, absolutely, I don't think AI will replace technical writers as much as it may replace some other roles and functions. Another question is, it feels like I'm being stuck. I'm stuck doing the same thing over and over, even though I'm trying new approaches, but I'm still not completely satisfied. Once again, I'm working as a solo tech writer on a project, which makes it harder to interact and collaborate with other tech writers. So Sumedh answered, with technical writing being such a huge field in India, you are never on your own. Yes, within your organization, you may be a one-person team, but if you leverage organizations like TWT, STC, ICBC, TechCom, etc., and so many more, you can always interact and collaborate with the fraternity. So, and then somebody asked, is there any career opportunities in UX writing? There are many, not one, many. UX writing, instructional designing, you want to switch, go switch. There are opportunities. Okay, and of course, technical writing, I always say there are a lot of opportunities. So that's all about those questions. So anyway, since I hope that most of the questions have been answered. So in the interest of time, I will not even give an opportunity to anybody to ask any one question because I understand we will reach 1 p.m. then. So the only request I will have for all of you is join that one group, career. What is the name of the group? Career Growth Group. In the WhatsApp group, in the topic-based community, at least you can ask questions and the discussions can go on all the time. There are multiple perspectives, and I'm very thankful to all the mentors here who have given different perspectives. Okay, and we are sorry time is short. Despite increasing it by 15-20 minutes, we are still, and I'm sorry to the mentors also. At times I have to cut you short on some questions due to the time, but thank you so much to all the mentors for joining, and we will have more of it. Till that time, I will request all of you to utilize the career growth field. And yeah, one last thing I want to mention. So yes, I am saying thank you to the mentors, but many of these mentors have expressed that they will try to help people in with one-on-one meetings also, with resume guidance also, and resume review also. So going forward, we will be trying to set up a method where you can have your resume, at least, reviewed. But the only thing that I will say, we will set up the rules first because you should not trouble the mentors also too much. When you are asking for resume guidance, do make sure you write a note there, what exactly you are looking for. They are not there to write your resume, okay? They will guide you. Don't ask, look for a specific template. It's easily available anywhere. So yeah, when we are asking questions to the mentors, try to be more specific, try to be considerate also. Don't think that somebody is going to, start with this, right from the scratch, because you also respect that. That's how mentorship works. So yeah, with that, so I would like to conclude this session. Thank you again to all the mentors and thank you to the participants. Rest, we will see each other in Career Growth Group. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Puneet. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Puneet.